What's going on, City Council? My name is Zachary Nelson. I have lived in Southeast Texas my entire life. I've lived in Groves, Port Neches, Nederland, and Beaumont, some of the best cities in Jefferson County. I have a background in chemical process operations. I have a background in the environmental field as a hazmat technician and safety instructor, as well as field safety and compliance. Have a lot of construction background, and currently I am an active firefighter in the community. And today I'm going to talk to you about the importance of fire prevention. As firefighters, the three strategies that we use that's the easiest to remember for fire prevention is the three E's, which is education, enforcement, and engineering. With education, we are consistently teaching the community about fire safety. Every chance we get, we want to do community events, school programs, workshops with local businesses, and love being a part of the community. Love being able to teach people, uh, the risks of fire prevention, and as far as engineering goes, a building or a structure from the jump before it is even built should have fire prevention in mind. That's why we have these life-saving devices like, fire sprinkler systems and, panic doors and things of that nature. All that stuff needs to be thought of, on paper even before you even break ground. And as far as enforcement goes, we make sure everyone follows local fire codes and regulations, which includes us coming through and doing regular inspections and having to take action if violations are found. As far as the enforcement of fire code in Beaumont and Groves, just for example, they have local fire marshal's office, and that is a division of the fire department itself, and they conduct the inspections of businesses, schools, and public spaces, and they also do the permitting for new construction or renovations. They will also do the issuing of citations if they find something that is requiring repair or if you find a code violation. That's not to say that it's going to be right off the jump where they're just going to be coming out dishing out citations. We do like to work with the community, in partnership with the community. That way that we can get things up to code. Our goal isn't to dish out citations. It is to get things in compliance and in code, so we cannot have a fire. Oh, and we can slow and prevent a fire if it does occur, and be able to take the measures needed for when something like that happens. When we're applying code to existing buildings, the old and new buildings, existing buildings in the Jefferson County area are subject to the same code and compliance deals. We are constantly inspecting and doing walkthroughs with people of old or new buildings. So if you say you have like a venue or something that you just bought and they're renovating it into some new, coffee shop, whatever it is, it still is subject to an inspection. And if updates or repairs are needed to meet the current codes, the owners are notified and we give them a time frame and they must comply within that set time frame. So the organization, so when we're determining the fire resistance building materials, typically we're going off of the UL and ASTM, which is Underwriters Laboratory and the American Society for Testing and Materials. We are constantly keeping an eye out for UL labels on materials to make sure that they meet fire resistance standards. And just for example, a couple of the tests that are included are the ASTM E119, and that's going to measure how long building components can withstand fire. That we'll get into here in a second about like the 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hour fire rated walls and doors and things of that nature. We also have NFPA 252, which tests fire doors and frames. When it comes to fire testing and code enforcement, fire tests and ratings are critical during inspections. For example, we check fire doors and we check them for proper labeling and condition. Here recently, we got a call to a local hospital that was asking us something about their data room. And it was a small little room with a bunch of computers and wires in it, and they asked if they were worried that their fire walls within that room were not in compliance. And sure enough, they had a drop ceiling in there. We pop up the tile on the drop ceiling and we see that the firewall ends there and it doesn't go up to the top of the structure, to the, you know, the ceiling, the real ceiling of the structure. And that's something that we got to get in compliance. That's something that has to be built up to regulation. So that's a common thing. If you go and you look at that in businesses, you pop up the drop ceiling, and you can see that some of the firewalls are not built all the way up to code. They must be intact and unmodified, and these ratings do ensure that if a fire does start, it's contained for long enough for people to escape and for us to be able to respond. You know, they have each wall or door is rated for a certain amount of time, and it's really not fireproof. It's just going to slow down that fire to give the fire department a chance to respond in time. In this area, the things that we're going to be looking at that pose the biggest threat are some of the, pre-60s, pre-50s wooden structures, and especially some of the stuff that isn't well kept, down in certain areas of Beaumont, certain areas of Port Arthur. That's the stuff that we got to keep an eye out on, because that's the stuff that's going to be prone to conflagration. And, a lot of the older stuff. But in this area, the biggest threat really is the refineries that are in this area. We are littered with refineries. We have hundreds of refineries in the Southeast Texas area, and we're constantly having to go in and walk these places out because the layout is so complex that for us to be able to respond to a fire, we need to have constant training walking into these places and mapping it out and seeing what tanks are holding what. And man, the presence of flammable chemicals does make fires more dangerous in this area. And so we're constantly having to do plans review, and structural control is essential. Reviewing building plans before construction is paramount. We have to ensure fire protection measures are included. And yeah, like these refineries, you'll see on a lot of the permits, it'll say if fire occurs, they'll just call fire department. And we really do have to come in and make rescue plans and things of that nature for the IFRs and EFRs on the tanks, and go and look and see how these tanks are set up and how they're going to be doing confined space entry and things of that nature. But those are where our biggest hazards are going to be, and we're constantly on top of it, constantly keeping in, teaming up with these refineries, because we want to be able to know the exact way in which we're going to be going about any kind of emergency. I just want to say a special thanks to the Beaumont and Groves Fire Department, and thank you for your time and commitment to fire prevention in Southeast Texas. As somebody who's worked in the local refinery and the environmental hazmat fields, I can say firsthand that, prevention of the fire is way better than fighting the fire. Working together, we can keep our community safer for everybody. Thank y'all very much.